Hello to my pragmatic optimists. I'm Rachel Cohen. I'm going to be recording by myself today because, as you may be able to tell, I am on vacation, but have a couple of updates that I want to make sure to share with everyone. I know Tiara will be recording her own, so make sure to like, subscribe, follow along with Legal AF on the Midas Touch Network. State Senator Tiara Mack and I are the pragmatic optimists, and I'm going to do my best to be optimistic as I tell you about ICE's purchase of weaponry, which is striking and terrifying and was broken by Judd Legume over at Popular Information earlier this week. That the ICE spending on weaponry has gone up 700% since Donald Trump's inauguration, and that they are buying not only kind of sidearms and things that you would think that, would you think that ICE really needed weaponry? They're a civil law enforcement agency, and it's very important to note that their jurisdiction is over the interior of the United States, as well as the border, but their focus has historically been on immigration enforcement in the interior of the United States. So we have a civil law enforcement organization because, just as a constant reminder, violations of immigration law are violations of civil laws, not criminal laws. We have a civil law enforcement agency that has a budget that makes it the 13th largest military in the entire world, just behind the state of Israel. Just off of their military budget, if you stand it alone and say ICE is its own country, it's its own army, 13th largest military budget in the entire world, just ICE. You have this organization that is currently disappearing people off the streets. Y'all know that I am a Chicago resident. The city of Chicago is under siege, as are the cities of Portland and Memphis and the District of Columbia and Los Angeles. Disappearing people off the streets. There are reports, ProPublica just put out a report that over 150 US citizens have been detained by ICE at this point, wrongfully, people being accused of not having legal status in the United States, who not only have legal status, but are citizens of the United States of America. This is the context, 700% up on military spending, and Judd Legume went through the records with those government contracts. They're literally purchasing warheads and guided missiles as this organization that is focused on domestic immigration law enforcement. So I'm going to try and leave you with a little bit of optimism. What do I do in this moment? What is going on? It's really hard. It's overwhelming because at the end of the day, who knows exactly what's happening, but it reads to me very clearly as the president of the United States building out a military force that is loyal functionally just to him, because there's been this rampant expansion of ICE hiring, ICE operations, absolutely no oversight. It's all been done despite the fact that, I talk about this often, but the build out of immigration enforcement to its current horrific state was possible because over the last several decades, there has been real xenophobia, anti-migrant sentiment that has been leaned into by not just Donald Trump, but a number of other Democratic politicians and pretty much every Republican politician to exist. So just don't allow yourself to think that this is an aberration. This is U.S. migration policy over pretty much the entire time that I've been able to pay attention to politics. I'm 31 years old. And there's going to need to be really transformative change related to what immigration in this country looks like. Under the Obama administration, there were expedited removal structures that were built out that started to chip away at people's due process rights. Those were, of course, exploited and then some by Donald Trump in his first term. Most of those kind of expansions of or retractions of due process rights, expansion of ignoring due process rights were not rolled back under the Biden administration. And that takes us to today. We're going to need to radically reimagine what migration policy looks like in this country. But as a standalone, what can you do in this exact moment? There are so many rapid response groups that are building out, particularly in cities that are currently under siege, but I guarantee they exist in a number of other cities as well. And if they don't, you should make them. In Chicago, here's my optimism for you today. In the city of Chicago, there are so many different rapid response signal groups. And people will report where ICE is, and people will try to mobilize to warn people in that neighborhood to stay inside, to be prepared to give people a chance to run away if ICE tries to apprehend them. And I got a text in one of those signal groups this morning that I'm in that said that there were ICE agents driving around on a street in the city of Chicago, and there were a pack of 6 bikers following them, blowing whistles the whole way to warn people in that neighborhood that ICE was there. And you will feel so much less helpless if you go and plug in with or create similar initiatives in your own city, whether you're in Chicago or anywhere else, because it's feeling like it might be as bad as it looks. But there's still so much that we can do together. We're going to continue to be talking about it over here on Pragmatic Optimists on Legal AF. Like, subscribe, share, follow along, not just on Legal AF on YouTube, but we have Instagram, Substack. I also personally have Instagram, Substack, TikTok, as does Tiara. And we'll see you soon.
I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touches Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states, and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.